Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show. I'm Peter Martin. Ruffy's here with me, Tom McManus and Charlie Adam. Great to have your company on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. As ever, we always like you to hit the subscribe button because the football family is growing. More and more people have downloaded the app, and a big thank you. Ruffy, they're all into the breaking football news, and of course you can watch it live on the app.
Yeah, and as you were saying before we come on, the football family's grown and grown, even in Sydney. You know, all right over there, but not here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, to be perfectly honest with you, although there's a wee bit of anger about it all, Charlie, we'll all be heading down there if we can get, a wee flight. We've got accommodation. The amount of people that have offered us accommodation is outrageous.
I've had my invite from one of the clubs, so I might take it up and might guest appearance maybe. Yeah?
Well, that would be fantastic. That would be brilliant. Can you imagine the Rangers Aussie supporters club inviting you down there? It'd be fantastic.
It's going to be a great game. And
did you see the stadium? 85,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks the berries.
It'll be sold out.
Yeah,
that'll be sold out, not without a shadow of a doubt.
Absolutely. We did have an email yesterday, and I'm going to read it out because obviously some people, Dave Sinclair, who's in Sydney, says, I'm an ex-Pat Thursday show about the Super Cup. You're correct in your comments. There isn't the chance to see the best the SPFL has against us. I think Dave's slightly miffed with us because there was a suggestion that obviously there's going to be, not the first team players. They're sending a couple of reserve teams and pocketing the cash was how Dave thought we were inferring this whole thing. But that's not. I think it was, and again, I mentioned to Dave that it's not what we were trying to portray. The fact is that it will not be first team players. There will be some there, but there's so many of them going to be on World Cup duty, Ruffy. Some of them will actually be called up for friendly internationals for their own countries if they're not involved in the World Cup.
Yeah, I think that's the way we're trying to put it across. I think the people in Sydney would like to see 4 or 5 big names there.
Yeah.
And that might be the case, that you can't cater for everything because everything that's going on at that time. But I think any Rangers or Celtic team who walk on the park, the expats will be more than happy to see who's in show.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi to lots of people who have joined us on the feed, and I'll post messages about how they feel about football over the weekend. Although I have to say, just a quick one, Ruffy, we love our football, we love sport in general. I think everybody is absolutely shocked at the death of Shane Warne. I can't believe it. I think everybody across the UK, he was a legend as an Aussie cricketer, but I think everybody's just gobsmacked by it.
Yeah, I was listening to the radio coming through there, seemingly broke every record that was available in his era, and I think it was Tam or Charlie was saying that he actually sent out his wishes to Rodney Marsh, who died the day before.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely incredible. But no, I think that as far as people who are in cricket will remember him very fondly.
Yeah, okay. I think on behalf of everyone in the football show, we love our sport, and that is a sad, sad day for a legendary cricketer. We're talking about football over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday for the Scottish Premiership, and we'll deal with some of the stories that are emerging today as well. Scotland against Ukraine. Ukraine have requested a postponement of the World Cup playoff semi-final against Scotland. And I just don't know how you resolve this. The players are all mindful of it. Rod Petrie has sent a message of support to Ukraine. It's just such a difficult situation, especially for the Ukrainian international side, because the amount of players, managers you hear who are, going to take up the fight, as we move on closer to March, would they be even on the 24th of March able to field a team that was the strongest?
Yeah, I think that football's got to take a back seat, at the minute. I think that, the Scottish fans are very understanding in the situation that Ukraine are in at the minute, and they'll try and arrange the game, but nobody knows how long this is going to last. The war between Ukraine and Russia, nobody knows how long it's going to last. So the word is that the fixture list is very, very congested. So how are they going to fit it in? So I don't know how they're going to do it. They've got to postpone the game. There's no way they can go ahead, but it's just when do they squeeze it in? When do they get that window to squeeze it in? Because nobody knows how long this is going to last.
Yeah, and then I don't know how they resolve it, Ruffy, if they can't play the game.
That's a difficult one, and obviously the powers that be would have to decide that, but as Tom said, there's more things going on than every time you pick up the papers or see it on the telly. I mean, we shouldn't even be talking about football, in that aspect of these two, that game itself. It's going to be a tough one for somebody if it really comes down to the crunch. You may have to stand aside, but it's a long way away. It's November. You would think you'd be able to get something in, but there's other two teams waiting as well, Wales and Austria. So yeah, it's a fixture list that we hope somebody can come up with a sensible idea how to solve it.
Yeah. Do you think possibly because Tam Courts is in charge at Dundee that you're having great difficulty, announcing anybody?
Yeah.
Do you just make up the first thing that comes into your head?
Thomas, innit? That's what we need to call him, Thomas. That's the email, aye.
Does your mum call you Thomas when you were in trouble?
My mum and dad never called me Tam. Always called me Thomas.
Always called you Thomas, okay.
Tam's quite common, innit? It's quite...
Well, I think you're one of them.
No, that I'm not common, but
just saying, let's not overestimate your status. But nevertheless, I think you're a footballer of the people, and that's why you're the up and coming roughie. Everybody likes you. That's why Charlie and I are in the middle, because we are Marmite. I mean, they don't like Charlie for breathing. They don't like me at times. So we just have to sit in here and box it about. Charlie, I genuinely don't, I don't know how they'll resolve this if the Ukrainians can't play it. And I see that coming ever closer, that they will not be able to.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to play the game. And I seen somebody tweet about an idea of, if the game doesn't go ahead, Scotland trying to find another friendly and, donating the money towards the Ukraine, the problems in Ukraine at the moment. I think it's a wonderful idea if that would be able to happen. But I just don't think I can see this game going ahead, and like I say, then it's up to FIFA or UEFA to make these decisions on where Scotland, in this game ends up happening. If it does or if it doesn't, somebody, like I said, somebody might have to step aside, and Scotland will be fighting hard for it not to happen for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, another couple of things. Aaron Ramsey has spent £30,000 apparently of his own money to bring in a specialist physiotherapist. Now, I read that story and I thought to myself, doesn't say a lot for the Rangers physiotherapist. No. And I treat it with a pinch of salt, really.
I believe is he has his own team anyway.
Yeah.
Who've looked after him at Juventus, looked after him while he goes into the camp with Wales. He has his own medical team with him. Well, listen, why would you know?
Yeah.
The best players in the world have got it. If they're earning X amount of money, they can afford to do it. But just because he's probably flown in somebody for a little bit more treatment than what he's getting, everybody's blowing it up. He's just not been available for a number of games that Rangers have wanted from. He's back in the squad now, which is good for them, and hopefully he can play a bit of part on Sunday for them.
Yeah, I think that's the key to it all. Is just three players. Ramsey's one of them, Helander and Ryan Jack back in the squad, which I think are three crucial players. Although I say crucial with Ramsey because I think Rangers fans want to see the best of him. They don't know what he's got to offer yet.
Well, at the top of his game, he's a quality player. If he was playing at the top of his game, he's probably the best player that Rangers have got. But the other two that you mentioned there have got big parts to play. Particularly, I think Helander, although he got a bit ragdolled at the Dundee United goal, I think that would be the preference for him to be in there. So yeah, at this stage of the season, everybody's running out of games. You want every player available for every game.
Yeah, and this one, Rangers against Aberdeen, is certainly an interesting one because Aberdeen seem to raise their game against Rangers, can't quite do it against anybody else, Tam. And I'm looking at this Rangers team at the moment, and quite a few people have been critical of the fact that he didn't use any subs in midweek. And it is more and more a squad game. Is he just happy that he's got his 11 and he doesn't want to alter it?
I've noticed that over the last couple of games he's made a lot of substitutions. I think maybe he doesn't trust the guys on the bench. Maybe he thinks that's his team, and whatever. I know he brought some subs on against Dundee United and didn't do too well. So maybe he's thought I'd rather stick with the guys that's on the pitch. But it's unusual, as Charlie will tell you. Teams always make 2 or 3 subs, maybe 20-25 minutes to go. Especially when you've got 5.
Together.
You've got 5.
You've got 5 to use.
Freshen it up.
And a lot of the clubs in the lower half of the table are saying, why should we give Celtic and Rangers the benefit? They've got such a big squad with quality players that can call on even more from the bench. They can sometimes change half their team.
Yeah, but I think we might be reading a wee bit too much into it. For not to use a sub, I think he might have just felt that if he makes a sub and the sub comes on, switches off at a certain point, a set play or whatever, that could change the game. They felt maybe they were comfortable in the match and they didn't want to make a sub on. There was no fatigue in your Kent or somebody like that. So I think we might have just been reading too much into it. Listen, he trusts his squad, because he needs them from now to the end of the season. Sakala will come in, he'll score goals. Scott Wright will come in and play at points. Roof will play. So he trusts that squad, but this is a big game for them.
Yeah, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst had this to say ahead of this match against Aberdeen on the Saturday. The 3 points was all that was on my mind on Wednesday. People will talk about substitutions and that's okay. My focus is on getting the 3 points. We create the chances to score. On Wednesday we had fewer chances than the games before, but still enough to win by a bigger margin. The pitch wasn't great for our game, so it was all about securing the 3 points. It's a special moment for the club on our 150th anniversary tomorrow, but our full focus is only on winning against Aberdeen. That's the words of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst on this one. Since the break, roughly, it's 16 points from a possible 27. Aberdeen have managed 2 draws against them.
Yeah, particularly up at Pittodrie, they seem to really do up their game. They're in Rangers' faces. But I don't think at Ibrox. I think in the evidence of Rangers last week, I know they lost 2 late goals against Motherwell, but the goal scoring opportunities they had were there for everybody to see, and if they'd hit the back with any of them, they could have won that game quite easy. I can't see Aberdeen taking in at this game. I still think their defence is a bit wobbly, to say the least. They don't look strong at all. So no, I'm going to go for a Rangers win.
Yeah, Jim Goodwin reckons that he won't have any difficulty just trying to get the players to be up for this one.
We know how difficult the task is going to be. Rangers are playing particularly well at the moment, and they've got a real consistency in their starting 11 as well, and in the way that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst wants his team to play. So, it's going to be a difficult task, but we have to go into it with the right mindset and be positive. And the players have shown in past that they're capable of raising their game when they're playing against the big boys. So we'll look for the same reaction tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a Rangers side unbeaten in 11 league meetings with Aberdeen. They've won 7, they've drawn 4, and it's been a while since Aberdeen have actually managed to get a win against them. But they'll battle away. They've got players that are capable. The only thing I would suggest to you, and this is where I look at this Aberdeen side and I see them just above you in St Johnstone, is that it's like Antonio Conte says, I can come in and offer my managerial skills, but it's the same players, and the same players give you the same result. And for me personally, I look at Aberdeen, I think this summer there's a clear out on the way, because they have to get rid of, I've got it down to, even in the first team, minimum 6 to go.
But that's expensive. So if Aberdeen have got deep pockets, it's going to be expensive for them to get rid of the players because they'll have contracts.
Would you sell Calvin Ramsey or somebody to try and give the manager additional funds?
Yeah, but then why are you selling one of your best assets just to get rid of the people that you don't want, that are sat on a year's contract on thousands a week, just to pay them off to get rid of them? It can't work like that. It's not financial, business like that. That won't work. So
well,
they have to find solutions.
Out of this one.
No, but they're going to have to find a solution. The players have to step up and find a bit of form from somewhere, and it's Jim's job, and that's the pressure of being at Aberdeen. Jim's got to find a solution, and he's got to try and get the best at the players that he's got at the moment, because he can't change it from now to the end of the season. And that's up to them to find a way. And if it's dropping big name players that they have, then he's got to do it. But it's they're in a bit of a sticky patch at the moment, and you don't want to really go to be Tynecastle and going to Rangers on the following Saturday.
Yeah, if Dave Cormack has got a budget that he's going to give Jim Goodwin in the summer, then if Jim Goodwin thought, well, is that going to be enough to tinker with it? I'm looking at that side, Tam, and I just do not see Jim Goodwin altering what they've been given. I mean, they're poor. I looked at their team in the last couple of games and I thought, well, the back 4 needs completely restructured. I'd still keep Joe Lewis, but the back 4 needs a complete clear out.
I think Jim Goodwin will want to bring his own players, and every manager wants to bring their own players. And Charlie's right. You can't just start getting rid of players. You need to pay them off. You need to pay their contracts up. But I think they'll be wanting to freshen the team up, freshen the squad up. Stephen Glasser's well backed. He was well back. Guys up there on good money, very good money.
They're not good enough to get into the top 6.
They're under. No, they won't in the top 6 this season. No, for me. They've underachieved big time this season, Aberdeen, for the quality of player they've signed. Declan Gallagher, Bates, Marley Watkins. They've signed good players. Even the boy Longstaff come up for Newcastle, and they've just not.
It's keeping them fit as well. Your Marley Watkins and people like that, they've not been fit all season, and that's been a big thing for them. It's trying to keep these lads fit that are earning big money. So it's going to be, it is tough and difficult, but it's up to the management. Like I say, Jim wants to take control of everything, and it's his, decisions who he plays and who he now moves forward with, because it's only them that can change the situation.
When he was sitting there for an hour with Sir Alex Ferguson, I mentioned it to you, slightly jocular, Ruffy, that Alex Ferguson will say to him, look, get that siege mentality into them, pick the fighters that want to fight, get some scouts down to the west of Scotland, steal some of the good players that are, on the off chance that they might buy into, you're going to get first team football up here, rather than, Celtic and Rangers sitting in a reserve side. But I also think, you're looking, you're saying to yourself, okay, who can he go for? He's got to go for something to strengthen the back line. I don't know where he gets it from, or if he can even afford to buy half decent players from Scotland. But Alan Forrest is out of contract in the summer. Aberdeen should be all over him like a rash right now.
Charles Cook.
Regan Charles Cook is another great shout, Charlie.
Yeah, but you've got to get the right ones in. There has been a few up there, that the previous manager went for. The boy for Livingston, JL, what's his name?
The Jet.
Jet. I mean, that just didn't happen.
Yeah. But did he sign him?
Well, that's you don't know that.
That's your problem.
And then down the road, they went for the American. I like Ramirez. I think he's very good. I think he's been a star by whoever suggested that one. But they can't keep going down that road. They need to get experience.
Goals, Aberdeen would be the bottom two.
Yeah.
But then you said the other day that it'd be interesting. McGrath, I don't know if he's going to fit in wherever he went. No, that's the kind of player.
Well, that's going to cost stupid money now to try and bring him back up.
No, I was just saying, but like you were talking about in that January window, they're trying to get him, and they thought that they had him, and all of a sudden he wanted to go to Wigan, which is, it's hard to turn down that situation, because they're probably going to be playing the Championship next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, how do we see this one going then, guys? What did you go for, Ruffy, on this one?
I think initially Aberdeen will make it hard, but I think Rangers have got too much firepower, and I think they'll run out maybe 2-0.
Yeah. Tom,
I think I've went for 2-0 as well, or 2-1. But I think Aberdeen will raise their game. They always do it against Rangers, and they'll raise it. It'll not be a 4 or 5-0 shot. Aberdeen will go there and they'll get fired in. But I think Rangers will just nick it.
Yeah, I've got 2-0 as well, Charlie.
I think Rangers they'll win this.
Okay. Congratulations to Ange Postecoglou. He's manager of the month. It's been a good month for Postecoglou and his team. And I think he's well pleased as ever, not keen to take all the credit for it. He's been singing the praises of everybody in the backroom staff and the players on this one. But he knows that by the time they kick off against their bogey side, Livingston, they're going to have to produce something. They may well be level on points with Rangers by the time they kick off. And he knows exactly how difficult it's going to be against an ever-improving Livingston side.
Yeah, look, I think they've sort of grown into the season. I think they've got stronger as the season got along. They seem to have a good spirit within the group. They work hard together. They're well drilled and structured, so it makes them hard to beat. And the 2 games we played against them, we've had a good challenge in front of us, and I'm sure Sunday will be the same.
Yeah, Livingston just seem to have this belief that they can take something from Celtic.
I've been batting the drum with them all season. Livingston, I've been really impressed with them twice against Hibs. Livingston battered them, Jack Ross's last game, 1-0. And then he came to Easter Road and won 3-2 and turned Hibs over again. So, no, I think they're an excellent side. They're fit, they're strong, they're organised, they've got pace. They're very, very accustomed to that pitch. They're a very, very dangerous team at home, and that's going to be a very tough game for Celtic. Celtic supporters will be thinking about this game, thinking, if we get a win at this game, this will be a huge result. This is probably one of the hardest away games that Celtic will encounter between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, really? I get that real. I think Tom's right on the mark with this, Ruffy, because for whatever reason, Livy are able to, as they did earlier in the season with that 1-0 win, they're able to soak up the pressure and then just pick their moment.
Yeah, and they're on a good vein of form. You know, a lot of players. The wee boy Pittman's doing particularly well. You know, and
he should be playing at eye level. I think he would be a good one for Aberdeen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good player.
But they're confident, you know, and we're all sitting here, I think, agreeing that if you're in the Celtic camp, you want to get this one out the road, you know, most definitely, because Rangers will be looking at the tie. It's a reverse now. They're at home, Celtic are away, you know, so you'll be looking, you're more or less looking at Celtic dropping points than Rangers dropping points because of their form at home. So yeah, as Tam said, it's one they want to get out the road.
It's hard to believe, Charlie, but Livingston are unbeaten in 5 home matches against Celtic. You know, 2 wins and 3 draws.
Yeah, it's they seem to have the thing against Celtic at the moment. I don't buy into the pitch as an excuse for Celtic. I think it's, you know, it's a mental side that if you don't turn up on the day, you know it's going to be tough. And I just think this Celtic team's got a different mentality going forward. And I think Celtic will just edge it. And, you know, let's say keep the title race alive.
Yeah, I've got 1-0, Ruffy, to Celtic.
Yeah, I've got Celtic to win. I don't know what I went. Maybe it was 2-0. I think it was.
You've got 6-1 here,
2-0.
You get 2-0.
I've got 2-0. I think Celtic have still got the firepower. You know, we've seen it the other night there. They were just relentless at Parkhead. Attack. You know, my biggest problem is I don't think they've got a goal scorer just now. You know, up front goal scorer who should be banging. Imagine when you were playing with Rangers, you know, at this time of the year, your Rangers striker would have scored 20 goals, wouldn't he? 25 goals in the Premiership.
Your striker when you were playing for Rangers?
Boydie.
Oh, well, he scored goals for fun, by the way.
I don't know exactly, but I don't think there's a Celtic forward got 10 goals in the Premiership.
Yeah.
You know, and that is just hard to believe with the style that they play.
Abada has played well. He scored goals well 14? Above. Yeah, he's been well above.
I mean, a striker.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Giacomakis could be back this weekend. Is he good enough for it?
For 20 goals?
No, to bolster that line.
He scored a hat trick, but he doesn't look like, you know, a striker that's going to score 25, 30 goals.
Yeah, okay. As far as, I'm going to come back to you on your point you made about Livingston. David Martindale under no illusion of what Celtic are going to offer on Sunday.
I think Ange has done a fantastic job. I think Celtic are playing attractive football. You can see what Ange is trying to do. I think he's got his recruitment bang on. So I generally, and this is me being truthful, I'm not playing mind games here, I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game on Sunday. And I think we'll have to be bang at it to take anything from the game. Well,
if Ange Postecoglou has got any message to the players, it's really any of you who are ready for a fight, because this is one of these ones that you don't want to see on DVD again. Just watch it once and then forget about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be a classic for Celtic. The only thing that matters for Celtic is 3 points. Doesn't matter, you know, how it comes. Might need to win the game late on, but they'll need to win the battle. Livingston are a physical, they can play, but they're a physical side. The 3 boys in the middle of the park, very, very competitive. Omionga, Holt and Pittman, the 3 of them are very good together in there. They're you know, get after people. They're solid at the back. They've got a goal scorer now in Bruce Anderson, the big boy Newbley up front. You know, holds it up well. So they're a good side. This is a very, very tough game. I think I've went for 2-1 Celtic, and I think they might need to win it in the last 5 minutes. Celtic.
European football for Livy.
I think so. I think they've got a chance. As I said, when they beat Hibs, I came away for that game thinking they're a very good side.
Did you think they were going to get relegated at the start of the season?
No, I don't think I did. No. I think I went for Dundee.
Did you go for Dundee?
No, I don't know.
I did.
I went for Ross County, I think.
Did you? Ross County. Listen, it's just turned on its head completely. But Livingston to be up there in 4th, it's incredible. Charlie, Celtic just edge it, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Elsewhere on the card, your boys are at Fir Park.
Yeah.
Our reporter, Kerry Pollock, was out there this morning catching up with what Graham Alexander had to say.
Good afternoon and welcome to Fir Park, where Motherwell boss Graham Alexander is just out of his press conference there, and he's looking forward to the game against Dundee tomorrow afternoon. Motherwell will be looking to bounce back from their disappointing result against Ross County on Wednesday night. They haven't won a game since the turn of the year, but will be looking for a place in that top 6. Here's what the Motherwell boss had to say about this match.
Well, like I say, we're in this position, and we've since Wednesday night. Prior to that, for 5 months, we've been in the top 6. So that gives us confidence. You know, we're in a cup quarter final. That gives us confidence. Like I say, we've beaten everybody outside the old firm. That gives us confidence, and the players are still here. So that's what we have to understand.
Motherwell midfielder Liam Donnelly insists there is no panic surrounding the dressing room after recent results and is looking forward to tomorrow's game against Dundee.
Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes things just don't fall for you the way you would like or the way you would have hoped. But there's no panic. I think we're still in a strong position. Still, fourth place or European place is still well within our grasp. So look forward to tomorrow. Hopefully, getting 3 points and getting back on track to achieve what we want.
Dundee are rooted at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership but have already enjoyed 2 wins over Motherwell this season. With the league being so tight, it is crucial that both teams strive for 3 points.
Yeah, thanks to Kerry for the insight into the Motherwell camp. One win in 9, and even that's not in the league. Their league form has been poor since the break, Charlie, and you guys have really had their number.
Well, no, we've played well in every game against them since we've come up. Even in the cup games and that, we've beat them. So earlier in the season, we probably should have beat them. They scored a good goal for Tony. Obviously was there at the time and scored a good header, and we lost the game 1-0. But we were well in the game. I went off injured, so the complexity of the game changed, But it's. I think Graham's obviously talked about his run of form. When you lose your best player in Tony Watt, who scored all your goals and gives you a big threat, it's very difficult to replace it. So they've obviously had a little bit of a dip, and we have to try and play on that home form. Supporters might get on the back of the fans, the fans might get on the back of the players, and we've got to use that to advantage.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you this though. From your own point of view, how have the players now responded to Mark? I mean, it's very difficult for me because he's
been a difficult week.
He's a nice guy. I think he's a great lad. He's my pal, and he's come in and is he trying hard? Is it difficult for him to win them over? Has there been a little bit of?
No. Listen, the players respected James because he brought, I think, everybody bar I think one player in the door. So it's been a difficult week, 10 days from him leaving, and Mark and Simon coming in, trying to implement what they want. We had a good result, but performance against Celtic at Celtic Park, we lost 3 goals, but we managed to create and score a couple of goals. Then we were poor at home against Livingston, and we sort of changed our shape a little bit against Hibs in the week. We were more solid. We had a better base to go and attack the game, and we might have nicked it if we took a couple of chances. But in the end, first thing, clean sheet. And we got a point, and it takes us a point closer to St Johnstone with a game in hand. So, which is on Wednesday night against St Mirren. So, no, it'll take time, but the most important thing is results in the park, and we hopefully, that result against Hibs can give the lads a lot of confidence.
Yeah, is there a real belief that you think as Mark had to try and work on the shape more than the psychology of look, we can get out of this?
I think a bit of both.
Yeah,
I think we were too open at times, and that's why we conceded. I think the number of goals that we have conceded, we were far too open. We have to be more disciplined. Like in the week, I think Hibs will say that we frustrated them, and they had 2 10s trying to get in the pockets, and we blocked that a little bit and forced them, into the wide area, Cadden and Doig, which, we were happy to defend the cross. So it's the shape was good in midweek, and we'll probably have to go there tomorrow as well and do the same thing and on the counter attack, look to cause Motherwell problems.
I was really tempted. I've got that many draws on the card this weekend. I was tempted because I thought, I'm curious to see what response from tomorrow's match from Dundee, if they can build on that 0-0. I've edged just Motherwell to win it by a goal.
I think I've went to Motherwell to win the game, just because they're at home. Dundee, I was at the game the other night, obviously, and they were much more solid. But Hibs have been toothless over the last 6 weeks. I think that's the 7th game in the last 9 that Hibs have failed to score in.
Yeah.
Mental. So I don't think Hibs created a lot. It was a poor game, to be honest. But if Dundee can go there, keep it tight, frustrate Motherwell. I think Motherwell fans are getting a bit edgy as well now with the manager. They've dropped down a few places. If they can go there and keep it tight and score the first goal, then they can go and get a result. But I just think Motherwell might nick it 1-0.
Apparently, quite a lot of Hibs fans have been phoning me and texting me saying that you're just getting excited if Hibs win a corner now. It's been that long.
If Hibs don't score tomorrow, I'm not going back. It's the play some lovely stuff. Hibs at times, they pass it out for the back, but it's in that final third. You've got to have people that's going to, create and take risks. If you need to score a goal and create a chance, you need to take a risk. Charlie, I'll tell you. There was a point in the week I was actually clapping. There was a bit of play where the goalie played it out in Portis, and I actually stood in the middle of the park clapping. I thought it was brilliant how they wanted to play. Normally you'd expect them to go long in that, but they've got a principle and a way of playing, and they might have to suffer from now to the end of the season, as in that they're going to lose games and that, but Sean finds a way and a solution. This is the way he wants to play. He's got the players for it. I think the way they want to play, they need a centre back in the middle that wants to play. Portis can play like that. Louis Stevenson, I think, is a very good footballer. So it was good to see at times, and like you say, I thought at times they just got to certain areas and then they just wanted to chuck it in the box for the sake of chucking it in the box, when really you've got time. The players that you've got, Henderson, Dre, Wright, they're good footballers. Try and play in between the lines when they can, but no, I think come the end of the season, once he gets his own players back into the team, I think Hibs will be a good force for next season. Just out of curiosity, because you are in a battle trying to get every point, obviously you're out, you've pulled your hamstring, is that a long term one? No, it won't be too long, listen, I'm looking probably for midweek if I can, against St Mirren. But is the manager keen to get you involved? You started. He wants me to get involved and play, and like I say, I felt that I did well enough for 60 minutes, and then it went the other day. But no, I just have to try and get it right and be ready for the games coming up, because there's a quarter final of the Scottish Cup and a few games before the split. And just on that point, when you mentioned there about the manager, the psychological aspect of it, the shape, try and make you difficult, is there a change in the way of look? Tom's talking about Hibs want to stick to these principles of play the ball out from the back. Is Mark a little bit more not so much cautious, just basically saying to the team, listen, come on, let's play in their half? Absolutely. Get the basics right, do the basics right. And turn teams, put it down the channel, make teams defend. Don't put pressure on yourself. And it was never going. We were never going to be playing safe. We were never going to get into the top 6 this season. It was all about coming up, consolidating, looking forward. We've got ourselves in a bit of a relegation battle. We know that, and there's different ways to win football matches. There's no plain sailing football. But we have to try and find a way of doing it. And if that's been ugly, we'll have to do it. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Hibs against St John. I mean, you don't want to see St Johnstone down there. Certainly would love to see Charlie still strutting his stuff in the top division next season. Ruffy, this is going to be a real scrap. But Hibs against St Johnstone, they're murder to watch in St Johnstone. I can't believe this team that has won a double last season is dire. They can't buy a win.
Yeah, they had a wee bit of fight against Rangers, but not really convincing enough for me. I think obviously Hibs used to have spoke about all the wonderful players that Hibs have got, and I think eventually it will click. Confidence at home's got to be a lot better, and this is an ideal time to play a team that aren't winning games. So for me, it's Hibs all the way. Yeah,
St Johnstone looking to avoid losing away to the Hibbies twice in the same season. It's not often they do that.
Yeah, I think Hibs have beaten them twice this season, and the season before it was a total bogey. Beat them in both cups and just couldn't beat them. This season it's been different. The positive I think for Hibs this Saturday is it's going to be a full house. They're doing the £5 deal for all the fans. They've sold every ticket. I think St Johnstone have brought 1,400 as well. So it's going to be a full house. Going to be a great atmosphere. Hopefully that lifts the Hibs players. The two Norwegian boys that come on looked okay. Looked sharp. The supporters have been wanting to see them. Melkerson and Hogg, so let's just hope that they can get a start and give the team a wee boost, because Hibs need something in the final third, whether that's the boy Melkerson or whether that's somebody for under 18s or the youth team.
You mentioned that midweek, didn't you?
Yep, they've got a big game tonight against Rangers in the youth cup, but just somebody like that to go and give a spark in the final third and go and run behind.
I like the little boy Jasper when he came on. I thought he was different from what they had. He's somebody that can go and create and take people on. A little bit selfish at times, but I think he's got something different from what they're used to. Nisbet being out, I know he's not performed well, is a huge blow to the whole club, because he's your main number 9. Doige is coming back from an injury, finding feet a little bit more, but I thought he linked up all right in midweek.
What's happened with Newell?
He's injured. He's injured.
He's a loss for me.
Yeah, no, Hibs have got your 10 starters. You know, you can right through for the goalkeeper. You know, Paul Hanlon, Paul McGinn, 2 guys that would play. Newell and McGuinness would play.
Yep.
The young lad Harry Clark that they signed on loan is a good player from Ross County. Nisbet. So they've got missing a lot of players that are in proper starters, Hibs. So
yeah.
I think that's probably why they're struggling a wee bit at the minute. But if I had a full squad to choose from, Hibs, I think they'd be further up the table.
Well, I've looked at it, Tam, and I think he's going to sneak it by a goal. Because I'm looking at St Johnstone, my God, 18 goals from 20.
There's not going to be a lot of goals in the game. I think if Hibs are going to win it, it will be 1-0.
Yeah.
So I think Hibs might just edge it.
I went 2, I think. 2 goals.
2 goals for Hibs? Yeah. Where are they getting the other one from? Are they borrowing it?
No, I'm sticking by them.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do that when you're a Hall of Famer.
He's actually getting that shit.
Who played more games used to?
Kidding?
How many games you play for Hibs?
190.
Many you?
I was about 134, 135.
Yeah. Oh, starting?
But you were there. You were there 13
34
years.
starts.
34 starts?
Aye, but you got the extra 100 appearance money, yeah.
Do you want to say something? When he said that as a gag there, I didn't want to laugh because I thought,
Aye,
34 stars.
30 more than it should have been.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's obviously Ruffy. I mean, I must admit, I was in the company of Bertie Ault's son last night, and I just keep hearing Bertie's sentences echoing in my mind of, you just couldn't sell him. He kept you in the league. And Hibs, absolutely. Hibs fans love you on the basis that when you were playing there, you know, if you've got someone who's such a key player, you were a goalkeeper who, you're worth 12 points to a team because you made so many great saves.
We weren't playing particularly well then. I mean, the club itself was in financial nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky if we had 2 balls for training. I mean, that sounds incredible, but that's how bad it was. We had nowhere to train. We just used to drive about and finding somewhere to train.
Yeah.
I mean, I always tell the story.
Was when you went down to Wardy? Because I remember having to go down to Wardy.
I trained there and all.
Yeah, I went down to Wardy.
Rugby part, Wardy. Horrendous.
I went down there as a reporter. I had to go there and interview.
My favourite story of trying to find a training ground, we came in one morning and I says to Jackie Martin, where are we training today? And he says, up at Holyrood, up at the thing there, there's pitches up there.
Yeah.
He says we're getting it was the old day, I don't know if it was you, it was the possibles versus the probables, in the team selection for the Saturday. So we went up there and great surface, good parks and that, and the game had just went on 10 minutes and then there was a whistle. And I says to Jackie Mara, who's that? He goes, that's the parky. He says, just lie down till he goes away and we'll start the game again. This is a professional football team.
No, but do you know what makes it even worse? They'd only 2 footballs for training and Ruffy owned a sports shop. I mean, honestly, that just...
Not getting boss, no?
They did, I wouldn't get paid. They're struggling. Lucky your wages on a Friday.
Brilliant, Ruffy. I've got them 1-0. You?
I think I went
2-0.
2.
You?
I think I went for 2-0.
Oh, I need them Hibs win.
We need Hibs win. You'll be on to me tonight, man. You better get them boys fired though.
Charlie, brilliant.
Them boys and win.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Dundee United against Hearts. Hearts have won both their 2 league games against them by 2-0. So are we about to see anything different from this Jambo side? They're in that limbo situation where they just got to keep plodding on to the end of the season. They're adrift of Rangers, but they're comfortably in third, Ruffy.
Yeah, I've liked the way they're playing in the last 2 or 3 months, and Dundee United just have a knack of fighting for each other and throwing their body on the line, with Charlie McGrew in particular. They managed to get points, 1 each, quite a lot. And they would have got 1 each the other night. I mean, I was talking about Seagrass, has been winning games for them or getting points. And again, the other night there, he would have got them a point as well if the boy hadn't scored the own goal. So I think Hearts will have a difficult one because, it's always a hard place to go to. So I think I've sat in the fence and went 1 each.
Yeah, 1 each in this one. Charlie, what do you make of it? Dundee United unbeaten at 3. I have to say, when we're talking about Mr. Shiny Face here, I was chatting last night to Charlie McGrew. Something's wrong. That boy's drinking a fountain of youth. He's
just a good-looking man, isn't he?
Just a good-looking boy, Ruffy, if you asked me, I'd have to think about it.
Listen, he's done really well for him, but he's picked up a couple of injuries. It's a difficult one, this, because Dundee United, like you say, they get ahead and they hang on, but that hanging on can only last for so long.
Yeah.
You know, you can only get through a certain amount of the period of hanging on. Listen, they've got a great points total so far. They'll be delighted where they are. Could they have done a little bit better? Possibly, but this Hearts team at the moment are, you know, they're the best of the rest at the moment. You know, they've been brilliant all season. Like Robbie, the way he plays, he set them up. You know, he's managed them well from coming up from the Championship. So I could see Hearts just getting ahead of this as well.
Yeah, in a strange, crazy sort of way, Tam, I'm looking at the table here. Dundee United, if they could win, you know, they're looking there and they're saying, OK, Livingston, they could leapfrog them if Celtic did the business on the Sunday.
Well, there's 4 points between 4th and 8th, so it's nothing really. So I think Hearts will win. I fancy Hearts strongly, actually. I think they'll win 2-1.
So thanks to lots of people who are putting their thoughts on who's going to win the games. It's always good. If you get a chance, hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. We talk about football Monday to Friday. Every day of the week we will bring you special guests, and of course we've got our regular pundits that we like as part of a football family, and we'd love you to join us. And thanks to the thousands of people who are subscribing to the YouTube channel. It's really appreciated. We've only really moved on to this exclusively in the last 6 months, and more people are just remembering it's on. We're joining it, and in fact today, you know, I was at the shops and a guy just came out from the back of the shop, Ruffy, and said, I love the show. I've subscribed to it. I've got the app. They've downloaded the app because you can watch it live. So more and more people are taking full advantage of the fact that if you want it live, you can watch it. You could be sitting somewhere in a train station watching it.
I'm getting involved as well, and I'm not even on the show.
He was on the live chat last week.
On the live chat last week.
I did see you on the live chat last week.
Watching it.
But have you got the app to watch?
Got the watch. I've got it. The app. I'm on the YouTube, getting involved as well. So that's good.
We did. That's the good thing about it. You know, if you say something,
you get signal on the train.
Yeah. Nah, it's chilling in the apartment, you know. So sat in the back of the car. The chauffeur was driving around.
Charlie, did that? I mean, that's a great point. Do you remember when we went down to see him? Because he
come on.
No, but do you remember when we went down to see him in Lytham? You mentioned something which, again, up here people look and they'll say, okay, some players all get into one car and travel to grounds, but guys like Peter Crouch and that would travel from their homes quite a fair distance to go to London to play for the club down there.
I know. Crouchy was travelling. Him and Glenn Johnstone were travelling up from London up to Stoke. So they'd get a train from Oxshott out into Euston Station. They'd get a train up to Euston to Stoke. It was only an hour and 20 minutes. And they'd be in the training ground and they'd be back into London by 3 o'clock. It was just the way life was. That's how it is.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It was brilliant, but that's the way. But you look at now the players in the Premier League, a lot of them will have drivers, you know, in these big Vianos and things like that, you know. So it's that's the comfort that they've got.
If you were on 30, 40, 50 grand a week, you just get a driver anyway, wouldn't you? Just pay them a couple of £100.
30, 40, 50 grand. These boys are on absolute fortunes,
I'm just saying,
by the way, you know.
You'd have a driver, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It was expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You used to have a driver, didn't you?
Aye.
Yeah. I remember you came up with a charity doing...
I had a driver.
Charlie and I were sitting playing golf and Charlie was... I think you were at Stoke at the time.
Yeah.
He's sitting in a few beers on it.
Was that first contract or second contract?
Second contract.
Second contract.
Take it he's not driving him.
Second contract, you had the Havana cigar out, but that time he was absolutely...
How things have changed, now you've got another driver.
Aye.
Yeah.
Did you tell them what I bought you today?
I got a lovely bottle of wine today.
No,
my services,
that's fantastic. I'll tell you the one thing though, I bet you no matter how many drivers you've had, we haven't got the stories Bonzo's got.
That's why every Wednesday, Thursday I'm out. What's the big man got today? And we had a wee one today, we've got one, but we can't repeat it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. These are stories. I have to tell you, listen, eventually after about year 3, I just told them to shut it and tell me no more stories about some of my favourite players. But Dundee United Hearts, okay. United know what they've got to do. I've got this one. I think I've got it 1-1. I can't separate them. Have you got that?
1-1.
Yeah.
2-1 Hearts.
2-1 Hearts, yep.
Hearts
just for you. So I think we've near enough done them all. We've forgotten one, which is Ross County against St Mirren. Now, I watched them in midweek, Ruffy. Although Motherwell were ranked rotten, Ross County are not ranked rotten. Good players. The boy Hungbo hit his penalties. They've been practicing them every day of the week. It was just beautiful. Left peg right into the top corner. Cool as you like. And I love Charles Regan Cook as well, but their back line really worked hard to try and keep the clean sheet. I like what Malky's doing there, and you know, he's another one of these conundrums for people who will look and see they've got a manager well above their pay grade, and I think Malky could go on, and I'm surprised Aberdeen didn't look at him.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think of all the managers that's come in, he's the one that's bought wisely. You know, he's tapped into his resources down south. How many players in that team do you think he's got for down south?
He must
have a few. He must have been 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever.
More, because he bought them in the summer, and he got rid of a couple, and obviously they lost the big boy Clark to Hibs, who's he's still to come in as well, who was a very good player.
And I think Ross Callaghan does a good job for them.
Yeah, he does. He's been a good signing from Hamilton.
He's been a right good signing.
Yeah, and I like he's got a wee bit of bite about him as well.
I mean, he's one of the midfielders that gets in the box. You know, he gets by the strikers, and he's quite happy to get a goal.
Yeah, they kind of play a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
Charlie.
Callaghan will play in the 10. White will play up. Cook and Hungbo. Payton will play, who's a good player, and
Tilson,
and they've just got a solid back four. You know, know the jobs, know what they do, and a goalkeeper that can kick it a mile. But they're well organised, well drilled, and let's say if you've got that, and you've got, you know, the 2 or 3 players that can win you a game, like they have. You know, Charles Cook scored, you know, top goal scorer in the league, so that obviously helps you from what you are. But I think Malky is very underrated. Him and Don Cowie have done an excellent job so far, but they won't want to just accept it. They want to try and push on as high as they can, because, you know, Ross County will not want to be.
They're a wee miles away for fourth now.
Well, I'm just saying to you, listen, I was talking to Malky in midweek about, can you get top 6? Can you get possibly European football?
They're 4 points off of fourth.
Well,
Europe.
That's what I was just looking at. I mean, this is how mad this
But what was his
middle
reply?
section is. Well,
Let's just worry about St Mirren at the weekend.
Well, no, but Malky said we're looking up the way. You know, that's what he's thinking. He's always been adamant. And I said to you, Ruffy, at the start of the season, after watching them in 2 or 3 games, Ross County were not going to go down. I know you were adamant that, you know, they might be in the mix, but you can sense, Charlie, sometimes. You can sense when you actually see a team play and you see the specific players and the way they play. I think you can sense, you think, no, they've got too many good players.
Yeah, but I think certain clubs you've got to think about what you say. Like Davy obviously come out earlier in the season and says we won't be relegated. They've had the nous of playing in the Premier League for a couple of years now. So Ross County have been the same. Obviously Malky's new into the club, but he's went and set a standard for everybody else, and the football club say, listen, we want to get there. The results for a little bit, they were struggling bottom of the league. They picked up, and now they can look forward to going up. So, you know, everybody's different. They need to start looking up the table and not looking behind them. They are a good side, and they'll definitely win a lot more games for now to the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. St Mirren, what a time for Stephen Robinson to come in. They were on such a great run with Jim Goodwin, and he's now thinking to himself, I better get a win in soon here.
Yeah, and they lost the main man last week when he got sent off, you know, and they struggled in midweek without him. I don't know why. I've went 1 each. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this is just, I'm looking for a strange result. I think.
Well, Brophy's probably going to be a real bolster to them.
Well, but Brophy in the main, we played them right at the beginning of the season, and I was impressed with the two of them. And I thought they would do particularly well, but they've been off with injuries here and there. They've not consistently played a lot, you know, but I still think there's something about St Mirren, and that's why I'm probably going 1 each.
Yeah, I'm 2-1 Ross County for me, Tom.
No, I've went for a score draw. I think St Mirren will go up there and get a result. And you were mentioning him in Brophy, 6 goals in his last 7 games against Ross County.
Yeah.
He's got a wee knack against them.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you going for, Charlie?
A draw.
Yeah. Okay. You can give us your thoughts on that. Is any great surprise, Charlie?
Just talked up Ross County something awful there.
But I'm just thinking. Sometimes you've got to think about yourselves and, you know,
Exactly.
draw.
Unfortunately, can't he say both teams to get beat?
Yeah. Big game tonight, Ruffy, for you boys. You're at home to Inverness.
Yeah, just as we come in there,
the
rain was absolutely hammering down, and I thought we were going to get a decent dry park. But no, we need to win games. Well, everybody needs to win games, but we've got 2 home games coming up, and if we were to win the 2 games, we'd move into second or third, which would be great.
I watched them in midweek, and they were not bad second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the game. Both,
yeah,
they were good.
We did mention, Ruffy, that there was a period there of 4 or 5 games where you needed to step up to the plate, and you kept coming in here and with Richard and just bleating on about how.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't play great all the time, but as Charlie said, most of the games we are the better side, and we just kind of put the ball in the back of the net. But everybody that's in front of us are on horrendous runs.
Yeah.
Inverness are like what 1 in 11.
Both are giving everybody
Wraith
a chance.
Rovers are 1 in 11. You know, and we've jumped into 4th place now. You know, and that's where we want to be, in that top 4. So tonight and Tuesday, Queen of the South are big games.
Yeah, and if you win them, do you think you're going? You obviously want to try and get second. Is it beyond you now?
No, I don't think so. No, I think, as I've said all along, that everybody will take points off. I think the team, I keep saying this, the teams at the bottom of the league will take points off the boys at the top.
Yeah.
You know, and
In the South have been fire, they've lost a goal yet under Willie Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No disrespect to Dick Campbell and our bro, who are up there at the moment, but it's tight. I really want Dundee to stay in because I want the Dundee derby. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. I think Dundee are a big club. Maybe need to get their act together, and there'll be big changes in the summer. You guys, I always think of Partick Thistle as a kind of a Premier League club, Ruffy. It would be great to see you back up there.
Oh, it'd be great. We've got the support to be in there. You know, that obviously the financial side, it would be completely different from where we are now. You start getting the hand
in his wallet, wouldn't he?
You start getting the handouts that everybody else gets in the Premier League, and it's amazing how the players' wages go from 700 or 800 up to double that. You know, and that's what kind of player, once you get in there, you can go and try and attract.
And how do you handle as a board collie when you move up to the Premier League and he goes, I need 7 players?
I can win you. Will I say I can win you the title this year if you give me 7 players?
He'll say that anyway, whether we're there or no.
Some man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck and well done to Ian Murray, League One Manager of the Month.
Brilliant, big mate, big Nid. I'm delighted for him. Had a wee sticky patch towards the end of last season, but this season they've been magic. You know, and by all accounts, people that go to the games say they play really good stuff as well. So it's unfortunate for him. Cove have been very, very consistent. But Airdrie are on a great run as well. So they'll just be looking for Cove to slip up at some point, which I hope they don't, to be honest.
Okay. Just before we go, guys, hit the subscribe button and join us. We like to talk football right across north to south and, of course, European football as well. The Chinese rights holders have told the Premier League they're not going to broadcast the Premier League this weekend because I think the whole of the English Premier League is going to show its support for the Ukraine, and obviously they don't want any kind of political message because they're close allies of Russia. So slowly but surely, you know, politics and sport does mix, Charlie, but people are starting to crank it up, and I'm quite surprised, and this is quite controversial, but I'm quite surprised that Roman Abramovich is being allowed to sell Chelsea.
Well, I think they were talking about in Parliament that there's 300 odd Russians or something that they're having to, you know, they're looking to seize assets and things like that. Yeah. So there's big problems, and listen, the Chinese, they're making the way they want to do, but no, it's a shame what's going on in Ukraine, and you know, you would never want to be part of that. So let's say hopefully it can get sorted soon, and we can, you know, let's say see Scotland against Ukraine, and the players can be playing without any fear of what's going on in their home country.
Yeah, and one last point which DPG has just highlighted, which we have in our running order here, is from 2023 to 2024, the Champions League will change its format again. And again, we have situations where there's various press conferences going on now about the update on the breakaway Super League. They're still battling.
I think this is a well, towards it.
This part here was always to try and pacify clubs, and of course because UEFA is treading that fine line, they don't want to hammer the clubs who have been scurrilous in the background. These clubs should have been absolutely battered.
They should have. The ones that broke away, listen, everybody else went against them, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the rich getting richer. They just want more money because most of them are in serious debt.
Yeah.
So they just want to have their own wee league, and then hopefully, you know, it never happens because it would just ruin football for me. There'd be no chance of Celtic Rangers ever probably getting into that because of the money at stake. So hopefully they just keep it as it is.
Yeah, well, there's big changes afoot when the Champions League comes again, but I still think no matter how many ways they change it, Ruffy, it's going to be a similar situation where the English clubs will be in those latter stages, as I mentioned to you all those years ago. Semi-finals will be dominated by English clubs.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the changes are going to be. Obviously, they're not letting anybody on now, but as you are talking about there, it'll just be to suit the big owners and the big clubs, you know. I'll probably get into the top 12 in the English Premiership. I'll get into Champions League.
Yeah,
Be changing next season, you know, like your Newcastle and that investing in them. Champions League, so probably a far cry for them, but you know, with Chelsea's dynamics of the football club changing and where do they go from here to where Newcastle are looking to go, so
yeah.
Be interested to see which English clubs will be in the Champions League.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep our eye on that developing story. Of course, they're not giving up on that breakaway in the desperate search for cash. But of course, the Champions League, this new format, is basically to try and keep all the rich clubs happy, and then the smaller clubs, all those pipe dreams. I'm thinking of Ajax, who were fantastic. You know, Feyenoord won the Champions League as well. All the teams that are just out of the big clubs. Porto won it back in 2004, Ruffy. Those days, I think, will be long gone.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise was the Steaua Bucharest one. You know, who scored that winning goal again?
That was actually, do you know who it was?
Was it Stojkovic?
Yeah, because I think it was a penalty. It was the Steaua Bucharest that beat Barcelona in the final.
1-0.
That's one of the worst Champions League finals I've ever seen in my life. I was so desperate for Barcelona to win it with Terry Venables, but they absolutely bored their way to a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a wee lesson there. What year was it?
83.
Close, champ.
86.
It was 87, I think. Yeah. Anyway.
You didn't even know the answer.
No, it is 87. I think it is 87. Anyway, apart from anything else.
It'll be 83 by the way.
No, I was devil. Listen, hang on. I'll just tell you right now before we go, because there's no way I'm letting you
Walk out here thinking.
yeah, walk out of here thinking you're on the code. So listen, there you are. I think it's as we go down the Maltam, you can go all the way to 86-87 is Porto, 85-86 Steaua Bucharest, Barcelona.
Right.
I thought
I was wrong.
Yeah,
I thought
you
it was
were
right. I should have just
you should have said that, Ruffy. Well done. It was one of the worst Champions League finals of all time.
Liverpool won it in 83, is that right? And you knew it was in 83?
Yeah, absolutely. Liverpool, 6 times, don't forget it. Anyway, on that note, great to have Charlie with us on the Friday. You'll be with us on Wednesday, Chaz, surely, because, oh no,
We got a game St Mirren.
you've got the St Mirren game, which is going to be absolutely huge. Home?
At home, yeah.
Ruffy's delighted, isn't he, to pick him up?
Okay. Listen, best of luck for the team tomorrow as well. We'll be down there. I'll have a chat. Will you be in the stand?
Possibly.
Okay, we'll see. Right, okay. We'll see how they get on. We'll discuss all the Saturday and Sunday Premiership matches. Don't forget, on Monday, we're back to discuss it all. Hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. You can also hit the bell, you'll get all the notifications. And do what so many people are doing now. Download the app, you get all the breaking football stories, and you can watch the show live. Or if you miss it, you can watch it on your phone anytime you like. From Tam McManus, Alan Ruff, and of course Charlie Arrow and myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for watching.